McDonald's proposes that AI will give their staff a break today. The Department of Justice continues to move to break up Google, and Meta has a bit of an uphill battle ahead of it. It has to convince a judge that using a known piracy site is one of the things that would be permitted by fair use. Welcome to Hashtag Trending. I'm your host, Jim Love. Let's get into it. McDonald's is taking another shot at implementing artificial intelligence across its 43,000 restaurants to improve service speed and reduce employee stress. In 2021, the chain tried AI but was forced to end the experiment when frustrated customers complained their orders were mixed up. The fast food giant plans to introduce internet-connected kitchen equipment, AI-enabled drive-thrus, and AI-powered management tools to ensure order accuracy and predict equipment issues before they occur. Chief Information Officer Brian Rice acknowledged the challenge faced by staff, stating, "Our restaurants, frankly, can be very stressful. We have customers at the counter, we have customers at our drive-thru, we have couriers coming in for delivery, we have delivery at curbside. That's a lot to deal with for our crew." And he believes that technology solutions will help alleviate the stress. To support these advancements, McDonald's partnered with Google Cloud in late 2023 to implement edge computing, systems that process and analyze data on-site for faster and more efficient operations. This setup enables applications like predicting kitchen equipment failures and powering voice AI at the drive-thru. The company is also exploring computer vision, the AI behind facial recognition, to help verify order accuracy before orders are handed to customers. And additionally, McDonald's is developing a generative AI virtual manager to handle administrative tasks, such as shift scheduling. While some worry that AI will replace people, McDonald's claims its goal is growth, aiming to expand McDonald's loyalty programs from 175 million to 250 million patrons by 2027. But also, undoubtedly, competitive pressures are also a factor. Despite initial stumbles, competitors like Wendy's, Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, Domino's, and Taco Bell have also recently entered the fray, introducing robots and AI intelligence systems. The U.S. Department of Justice, the DOJ, appears to be intensifying its antitrust actions against Google, proposing that the tech giant divest its Chrome browser to promote competition in the internet search market. The recommendation comes after a federal judge ruled in August 2024 that Google maintained an illegal monopoly over online search services. While the new Trump administration has gone to bat for Elon Musk's companies and settled lawsuits with Meta, the new administration has not shown any sign of interfering in this very aggressive action, which could see Google broken into several smaller companies. In its recent filing, the DOJ stated Google must divest the Chrome browser, an important search access point. The department argues that the measure would allow a new competitor to operate a significant gateway to internet search free from Google's control. But in addition to that, the DOJ is also scrutinizing Google's Android operating system. While immediate divestiture isn't mandated, the department suggests that if Google fails to reform its Android business practices to restore competition, selling the operating system could become necessary. In response, a Google spokesperson expressed concerns, stating that the DOJ's proposals would harm America's consumers, economy, and national security. Not surprisingly, Google has indicated plans to appeal the court's decision. Two things that came from this story. One is, I wonder, given the move of OpenAI into search and new competitors like Perplexity, would this court case still yield the same verdict? We're out of the decision phase of this and into the penalty phase. And given the new mantra from Silicon Valley to pursue digital monopolies, and there's no greater champion of this than Peter Thiel, Vice President J.D. Vance's mentor and prior employer, it will be interesting to watch to see how this proceeds and if the DOJ continues to attack monopolistic practices in the tech industry. And finally, Meta's legal battle over AI training just got a little messier. Unsealed court documents show the company used torrent sites, long associated with online piracy, to download and distribute copyrighted books for training its Llama AI models. This revelation could defeat Meta's defense, where it's claimed fair use and not copyright infringement. A fair use allows limited use of copyrighted material without permission for purposes such as criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, or research. It's determined on a case-by-case basis using 4 factors. There's the purpose and character of the use, the nature of the copyrighted work, amount used, and the effect on the market for the original work. In other words, it boils down to a little bit of a judgment case, one that could be won in front of a jury. And the lawsuit, brought by authors including Sarah Silverman, claims Meta scraped books without permission. But what's raising eyebrows is how it got them. A leaked internal memo from a Meta employee spells out, "We are using a lot of copyrighted books." But it's not just the use of copyrighted materials, which likely every large language model has done. It's the way Meta went about it. What's raising eyebrows is things like a leaked internal memo from Meta employees spelling out, "We're using a lot of copyrighted books." And instead of obtaining licenses, Meta allegedly turned to Library Genesis, LibGen, one of the biggest online piracy sites, to pull in millions of books. And the company then used torrent networks, a classic tool for illegal file sharing, to distribute the data internally because the data sets were so large. As noted, torrents are a classic tool for piracy, used normally for movies and music, but it's not just the implication. Introduced into evidence was an email from a Meta employee who says it doesn't feel right to use a company laptop for torrents. Another complication is the fact that authors' lawyers are pushing for a summary judgment, where a judge could rule without a full trial. Legal experts say the torrent angle changes the game. Now, AI companies often argue that training on copyrighted material falls under fair use, and while they might win this argument in front of a jury, if Meta actively used piracy sites and shared the files, and given the apparent internal awareness of what they were doing and how that might be wrong, a judge might see this as a pretty clear-cut case of intentional copyright infringement. So, whatever happens, the ruling will have huge implications for the AI industry, where companies like OpenAI and Google are facing similar lawsuits over training data. If Meta loses, AI firms may be in for some big penalties and a reworking of how AI models can use data for training. There is one saving grace for the AI industry, and that is newer training models rely less and less on massive data sets and more on new methods. There's model distillation, often also known as knowledge distillation. That's a process in machine learning where knowledge is transferred from a large, complex model, the teacher, to a smaller, more efficient model, the student. There is also reinforcement learning, where models rapidly explore many different strategies and learn from being rewarded for successful actions. These are, reportedly, the ways in which DeepSeek was trained for a tiny fraction of the cost of classic large language models. But how much these companies would be liable for their prior use of copyrighted data is an open question. And despite these new methods, there may still be issues moving forward. Although it will probably be appealed regardless of the outcome, this case will establish a precedent that will influence AI development moving forward. Gotta watch it. And that's our show. Again, my thanks to all of you who have pitched in to fund the shows. I'm in the process of responding to each and every one of you. I don't know if you get an email notice from our funding site. I hope so. If not, on the site itself, you'll see my response. This is new to me as well. But I have to say, I am humbled by your comments, and it's great to hear that we've become friends over the past months and years. And for those of you who haven't yet responded, we're a little over halfway to our goal this month. So if you can go to buymeacoffee.com/techpodcast, that's buymeacoffee.com/techpodcast, And for as little as $5 a month, you can help fund our podcasts. Thanks a lot. I'm your host, Jim Love. Have a thrilling Thursday.